This is George Dionne with Metal Express Radio, and I'm here with Sam Nyman of the band Manimal. How you doing today, Sam?
Yeah, I'm fine, thank you. Thank you.
Excellent. If I knew absolutely nothing about Manimal, how would you describe the band's music to me?
Well, I would describe it as pure metal. If you want me to narrow that, heavy metal. I know that's our label. Like to call it power slash heavy metal, and maybe kind of describes the music. But since we have big variations in our music, in our songs, it's hard to pick one subgenre of the metal genre to describe our music in a good way. But so I prefer metal. Maybe I could go for heavy metal.
I absolutely agree with that. I hear a little heavy metal. I hear a little power metal. I hear progressive. You got some drum effects going on in there and all sorts of things on the new album, Armageddon. The album's set to be released on December 3rd through AFM Records. I noticed that Henrik, your guitar player, is kind of the lead songwriter, but does everybody else in the band kind of get their ideas in there as well?
Yeah, everybody gets the chance to come with ideas, but we have decided that Henrik is most suitable to write the main part of the songs, and often I come in after that. He presents ideas to me, and we work on them together. And when we think the songs are more or less finished, we bring them to Kenny and Andre. And then they have the chance to if they want to add something, and of course everybody is adding their own playing. Often the what we present to them is very raw. It's not a definite bass line or definite drum line. Maybe there are some fills in there or anything, but more or less it's raw ideas of the songs, and but everyone gets the chance, and I would say, even though maybe not all of us are involved in the songwriting, I would say that the album is much of a team effort. Henrik and I, we wrote most of the music together. Me and Andre, we write the lyrics. And Kenny, he is the one who's been mixing and mastering the album. So, even though not everyone is involved in the music, everyone is involved in the whole production, so to speak. So it's definitely a team effort.
Is Armageddon a concept album, or is it just similar kind of theme to each song? Because not painting a pretty picture here with some of the songs.
Well, there is a dark theme going through the whole album, but I wouldn't say it's a concept album in that sense. It's the songs they stand on their own, and even though many of them we reflect on mental illness and also, like the song Armageddon, the title says it all. It's about us people, how we are treating this planet and treating each other, and what we are going. What we are moving against if we keep on doing this to each other and the planet, and so it's more or less a dark theme, even though there is no common concept. No, it's not. But there is a line going through the whole album, and that one is pretty dark. Even though I hope that the songs will bring joy to people, even though there are many of them are very heavy, and if you dig into the lyrics, it's a lot of darkness there. But still, for me, metal music, even though it could be like black metal and it's really, really evil and dark, but if you appreciate the music, it brings joy, and a feeling of relief and by listening to it. And I hope that we will not depress people with this, because it's great songs, and we hope that it could people can take it the right way. It's metal music, and
Excellent. Let's talk a little bit about the singles you guys have put out already. Do you want to talk a little bit? Well, first of all, I should ask, do you like talking about what your songs are about, or do you like to leave it up to the listener to kind of figure it out?
Now, what I can say is my idea of the lyrics that I have written, which I've been writing or co-writing all the lyrics. So I can tell you a little about my idea of the lyrics, but then many of the songs are, you hope that people can relate to them in some kind of way. Even though they don't, the song and the lyrics may not mean the same to them as it does for me. But obviously, I had some kind of a basic idea for what the song and then the lyrics meant to me when I wrote them. So sure, go ahead.
Okay, let's start with "Burn in Hell." What was the story behind that one?
So. With this song, I told Henrik when we were working on that song that I want the lyrics for this one. I want this song to be everyone's hate song, a song to adapt to something or someone, or something that you hate, and you can use this song as your own hate song, and just scream your lungs out, burn in hell to this, whatever it might be that you hate, so it could be anything. Even though I mentioned some things in the lyrics, I wanted this song to be everyone's their own hate song, and I think metal music is much about getting your getting your anger out, and feelings that don't keep them within. Just scream them out and get it all out through the music. And that song in particular is very much about that.
All right, let's talk about Armageddon.
All right. So, like I said, it's like my own dystopian vision of what we're heading towards if we keep on doing this. Maybe it will not happen next year or not the year after, but if we keep on doing this within a couple of generations, I think we are digging our own grave. We have to be nicer to each other, and we have to treat the planet a little bit more with the respect than we do right now, and it's more or less my vision of what is waiting down the road if we don't straighten our things up. Okay,
Forged in Metal is another single you guys put out.
Yeah, this one is really a metal hymn. This is like our celebration to the music we love, and therefore I didn't have any, what do you say? I wasn't ashamed of putting in as many metal cliches as possible in that one, because I said to Henrik, "Hey, this is a metal hymn, and let's just go all in, also on the lyrics." So it's about the music, the metal music, and lots of many metal people, they like to sing along, and who doesn't want to put their fist in the air and scream, "Die, die, metal is our destiny," Yeah. So I had no deeper ideas or thoughts about that one. It was just to be a celebration to metal music.
And you released The Inevitable End as a single as well.
Yes, this is a pretty dark one, mainly about mental illness and the struggle against yourself and your own thoughts and more or less it's about that and and it was a great song to put as the last track on the album. You know, it's both symbolic, you know, and the inevitable end as the last song, and yeah, so mental illness, I would say.
Okay. So the good news is your album has been getting great reviews across the world. The bad news is it's been delayed because of a vinyl shortage or the demand for vinyl, or a combination of both, I believe.
Yeah, it was a hard one. We discussed this, whether we should just release, whether we should just postpone the vinyl release or the whole album release. But yeah, it was a common decision, both by the band and our label, that we should postpone the complete release to have it released on all formats at the same time, and in exchange, we decided to release yet another single, so people would have something to listen to while waiting for the whole album. And yeah, and it's because the situation now in the music business, when it comes to especially vinyls, it's crazy. You know, it's half a year of the delivery time for vinyls. So even though I know that our label, they said at an early point that we need to send the order to our supplier at an early stage to be able to get the vinyls in time. And they thought they did that. It was all, I think it was back in April or May or something, you know. And even though they ordered the vinyls at an early stage, they didn't. They weren't able to get them in time, so we had to delay it, unfortunately. So
it's not too much of a delay, another month or so. December 3rd is not too far away, and it's good that you gave the fans another single.
Yeah, but since we sent the album master to our label in April, so we have been waiting ever since for the album to be released. So yet another 2 months was a lifetime for us.
Absolutely. Speaking of physical media, one of the things I noticed right off the bat is the fantastic artwork that Armageddon has. Your artist is Stan W. Decker. How did you discover him?
It was through both our label and our booking agency. They had been using Stan for artwork previously, and they recommended him. And we checked his portfolio and thought that he had done many great artworks for other bands. And so he made both the album artwork, and also he has done all the artwork. We have unique artwork for each digital single, which we have released. So and also he has done some merch artwork for us and stuff, and he is absolutely amazing. Yeah, it really turned out, I would say, even better than we expected, all the stuff he's done so far. So yeah,
it's great. It's fantastic. I can't wait to see how it plays out on a vinyl, how it looks like that big.
Yeah.
More bad news. You had to cancel a tour with Rage that was going to be for 2021 and 2022. Do you have any other future tour plans?
Not at this point. There are some ideas. I'm having a meeting with our booking agency this Friday to discuss our options. We have some festivals booked for next year, so we won't go empty-handed, but we need a tour, you know, to support the album and to come out and meet people. So hopefully we will be able to have something before the end of this year. We will be able to have something planned for early next year. But at this point, we had to cancel the tour. It was not financially defendable to do it under this current circumstances.
Right. Obviously, you guys have toured before. What is kind of one of the more memorable shows that you've played? I'll go out on a limb and say it's probably like a festival.
Yeah, I would say one of them is the Prog Power Festival in Atlanta. It was really memories for life, I would say. The audience, the venue, the whole atmosphere at the festival was great, and it was our first show in the US, and my first time in the States ever. So the whole experience was overwhelming, so that would be one of the biggest, the highlights of our career so far. Also when we played in Russia, because nobody in the band had been in Russia before, and even though there was some, they had been expecting a lot of people to the festival, so it was, they had prepared for a big audience, but the big audience didn't turn up, but it didn't matter to us. There were a couple of hundred people when we played, and it was just the whole thing to play at the festival in Moscow, outside Moscow, in Russia. It was crazy, but I would say that the show at Prog Power, it was maybe even more, it was cooler.
Yeah, absolutely. And the US doesn't do a lot of festivals like that either. I mean, Power Prog, maybe like, well, there's not really anything for your style of metal, that festival, besides that one, maybe one other one, but we don't get a lot of that in the US.
Too bad.
Well, we're kind of go with the flavor of the day, unfortunately, and that's been hip hop for the last 25 years.
Yeah.
So I wanted to ask you about your war paint. You guys wear the blacked out eyes and everything like that. Does that represent something for you?
I would say that it's more or less our us wanting to put on a show. We love bands like King Diamond, Kiss, Ghost. People who what do you say? They make effort, that they want to entertain people, and they do that by putting on makeup. They have this special stage clothes, stage props, and we want to do that. And even though we're not Iron Maiden yet, so we can't afford a big Eddie on stage and stuff like that, but we can do the small things, like stage clothes, some makeup. I use my lenses on stage, to make me look a little bit more scary. And we have this different kinds of stage props, some skulls on stage and chains and stuff, So it's all about us wanting to put on a show and entertain people, and we think that is an important part of that. It's not just about the music; it's the whole package,
Absolutely. Last week, I interviewed Udo Dirkschneider about his new album, Game Over, and I noticed that he appeared on one of your songs in 2015 from the Trapped in the Shadows album, The Journey. So was that something set up by the label, or was it just a chance encounter?
It was even though we're on the same label as Udo, we also have the same publisher, and it was through our German publisher who connected us, and we asked through the publisher if they could make contact with Udo and ask him whether he would like to be part of that song, and I think it turned out so well. We wanted to do, we didn't want to do a typical Udo or Accept song together with him, because that's what people might expect, but we like some of those songs that Udo had done, which are slightly different than what he does in like ballads. So the whole idea was to do a ballad together with Udo, because I think that he has this very special way of singing, both when he sings soft, and then he does this characteristic sound. I don't know what to call it, but we wanted the whole package. We wanted both the traditional Udo, and we wanted the soft Udo. So and I think it turned out so well. It was a great experience, and I I think that Udo enjoyed it, even though he's been doing some of this stuff over the years, and so it's nothing special and for him, but for us it was very special to have one of our role models, and he's a legend, and to have him on one of our tracks was like a dream come true.
Absolutely. I wanted to ask where the origins of the band name came from, Manimal. I know it growing up as a song by Wasp, and there was also a U.S. TV show called Manimal where the guy turned from a human to any animal that he wanted. Did any of that influence you at all?
Well, no, it didn't. When we discussed back in, we formed the band back in 2001, and when we discussed the band name back then, we had some ideas, and one of them was Manimal, and we thought that, hey, yeah, man, animal, our music being like, a crossover between humans but it's what do you say? Yeah, metal music is very much
aggressive.
And primal. What do you say? Primal. Yeah.
I know what you're getting at. It's primal. It kind of brings out raw emotion.
Yeah. So we thought it was a suiting name, and back then the thing was when you wanted to search something on the internet, it was Alta Vista, and Alta Vista. We searched for Manimal, and it looked like, hey, I think this is pretty original. But back then, the search engines wasn't that good like Google and now. The many of the hits weren't that relevant, and everything wasn't on the internet. So so we thought it was a pretty original name. During the years, we have found out that there are more bands called Manimal. I think it's a South American dance music band they are pretty big. I think they're pretty big, actually. They have a lot of plays on Spotify and stuff. And it is a French thrash metal band called Manimal as well. And all our American fans they have been mentioning this lousy TV series who was more or less a flop, I think. But we weren't aware of that back then. We thought it was a good name. We still think, and we also thought it was original, which we have learned that it's not that original. But we will stick to the name, as long as nobody drags us to court and claim the name. We will
Absolutely.
stick to it, and people can we have no problem that people have a laugh when they think that we have taken the name from the TV series. That's okay with us.
I think naming a band today is almost like naming a craft beer. It's all been done. So you got to throw it out there and see what sticks.
Yeah.
But Manimal's a great name, and your album Armageddon is a great album. It deserves all the good praise that it's getting. I've listened to it quite a few times. I can't wait to get a physical copy. I want to thank you for speaking with Metal Express Radio today. I enjoyed it.
Thank you. Yeah, the same. And don't forget, you can always get your signed copy of the album on our website, manimal.se. We have our own web shop there. So for those of you who haven't already ordered the album, go there and you can order it and have it signed by us.
Awesome. I'll send them your way. Thanks again for taking the time. I really appreciate it.
Thank you very much.